Hi everybody. I'm just going to have to hope this is working because I am using my back camera on my phone. So if at any point you guys can't hear me because the microphone is facing kind of away, just let me know and I'll project the heck out of it. Cool. So I do have my laptop here so that I can respond to comments. That's what I'm doing if you see me just kind of, looking down in a random direction. So hi everybody. So today we are continuing talking about sea magic, and today we're going to look at seashells specifically. She's got a whole chapter on seashells. We're not going to talk about every single one in the book, but I do have some here from my sister's, fancy collection. So I thought I could show them to you, as we go along. Now, what I also have planned is the sea centering. Is the sea centering meditation from the first section. I'm bouncing around a lot throughout this book, so I hope you guys don't mind. But the sea centering meditation from the first section is really, really cool, and it's connecting to the ocean version of grounding. So what I did is I pre-recorded myself reading it with some ocean sounds and stuff in the background and a picture of, just some waves rolling in the shore. And we are going to do that after we're done talking here. Hi everybody. Yeah, I thought I would be so cute and say I'm taking a week to just get caught up. I didn't get caught up. I did a whole bunch of new shit. It's terrible. It's amazing. I actually have a really fun special thing to tell you guys in a second. But yeah, so when we're done this, I'm going to close the live meetup, and what I'm going to do is start a watch party. And we're going to watch the video in there, and I can still go live during our watch party, apparently, so that I can, interact with you guys. I thought this would be more fun than me just sitting here reading, so you're not just looking at me oh. And I would get to kind of enjoy as well. I don't know. I had an idea, and I thought I would go with it. Thanks, friends. I can't see exactly how many people are here, but that's okay. 3. Okay, so where do I want to start? I want to start by lighting my candle. I've got coconut scented matches. She even says in the book specifically that coconut isn't a stand-in for an ocean smell, but I think she can eat shit in this instance. Really. It's not just sunscreen, I really I love Polynesia, right? And all those beautiful Pacific islands, like Samoa and Hawaii and Tahiti and Fiji, and they all have coconuts, right? They all have coconuts. A lot of them have pineapples. Oh my god, lots of root veggies too, like sweet potato and taro and stuff. I'm all about that life. Okay, so my little coconut match. Wow, this thing is a pain in the butt. And I'm about to set my altar on fire. Wow, sorry. So as I said, we are going to be talking about different seashells tonight. So I'm only going to go through the ones that I have a little example for. I wrote down some other ones in case we kind of breeze through all of these. But like I said, I have that fun little meditation at the end. So, oh wait, I just said I had fun news. You guys, I signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't say a whole lot, but a publishing company reached out to me and they want me to write a book. It's a spell book, and I said I would love to, and I sent in a writing sample, so I am just waiting to hear back about that. But even if, let's say they don't want to do the book with me, which would make me sad, the day after I accepted the first proposal, Judica Isles, the writer, she wrote me an email saying oh my god, why don't you have a book? If you're interested, Wiser and I would no doubt love to work with you. So I have been geeking real hard about that and working on that and doing some online Skype meetings and stuff. So that's what I've been doing, and and I got a little bit wacky, but yeah, it's quite possible that there is going to be a Fat Feminist Witch book coming out very soon. A couple of them even. Oh yeah, if I can take both, I take both. For sure. So the first one, like I said, they want to do a spell book, and it's geared more towards people who aren't as familiar, or who are new, or who are rediscovering it, or what have you. So it's that kind of book, and then something I would write for myself would definitely be a little bit different, but I like the idea of the spell book, because that was my thing for the year, right? I want to get more into spell casting, and what better way to do that than to write, and then I have to test out all the spells, right? I can't just write a spell and put it in a book. I gotta write it, I gotta try it, or I gotta get someone else to try it. So if you see me experimenting with spells over the next couple of months, you guys will understand what I'm doing. Thanks, friends. I'm really excited. Super, super excited. So let's talk about some seashells. The first one I have, and unfortunately I do not have a nice big one, is abalone. Now, abalone shells, you guys probably recognize them the best as smudge bowls. So in a lot of, I don't want to say traditional, but nowadays, and when you see a smudge ceremony or someone's burning the sage, they have a nice big shell that they, are ashing it into and using to catch it. And that shell that they're using is called an abalone shell. And what I do have is these two earrings. They're like two of my favorites, that are made out of abalone shell. I don't know if you guys can see them. I hope so. So they're made out of abalone shell. Oh my God, get real. Coconuts propagated themselves through the Pacific Islands, not by humans taking them, but by floating through the oceans themselves. You know what? I respect that. I really respect that. I'm a little bit allergic to coconut. It's not deadly or anything. It's just I'm a little bit allergic. So I don't always use coconut, but lately it's just, I'm even eating more of it. I found a store here that sells bootleg Almond Joys from the States, and I've been eating them like crazy. But lately, I don't know. There's just something very, it reminds me of the beach and the sea and stuff like that, but it's still kind of a very earthy smell, so I dig that. So abalone, sorry I got off topic, but thank you. That's a really neat fact about coconuts, actually. It's really cool. So abalone, you usually see them as those smudge bowls. So abalone it stands for, healing, prosperity, abundance, cleansing, all of those things. And this is actually something I'm not totally loving about the book, is she didn't actually say what animals lived in an abalone before it became just the shell, and they're gigantic snails. They're they're big, gross snails. They are food. They are food. Any place where abalone, snails, any place where those sea snails live, they are food. And some parts of them are delicacies. And in New Zealand, the abalone is so recognized, it's called the paua. And the paua is recognized as a treasure, a taonga, which means that it's very valuable. They use it to make a lot of jewelry, but also artwork. They use it in artwork and in carvings, usually to represent eyes. Abalone is very associated with the eyes. It's traditionally, like in Maori folklore, I had to remember, I'm like, New Zealand? It's Maori folklore. They are associated with the stars, or the wetu, which are the symbolic eyes of ancestors that gaze down from the night sky. Isn't that cool? I always see them definitely as a very healing kind of shell, because they're used in smudge ceremonies and burning the sage, so I very much associate it with that very cleansing and healing vibe. But I wear these a lot to attract abundance, and I don't think prosperity, I don't think magic, it's more abundance. These snails are incredibly abundant throughout the world, and everywhere that they live, they are an important food source for the people that live there. The shells can be used to make all sorts of crafts and carvings, and they're a very important source of abundance in the parts of the world where they live. So abalone, very, very nice. I wish I had a really nice abalone shell to show you. I need to get one. I don't know why. I never find one in the stores that I really want. They're all beautiful. One hasn't just jumped out at me yet. That's okay. Soon. Holy shit. You can mail a coconut in the US mail. Like, just put a stamp on it. I'm going to start putting all my mail in coconuts. Yeah. I'm going to put all my mail into coconuts. I love that idea. Okay, let's go to something else that's a little more, or that's a little kind of standard, right? The shells that you guys might have seen before. So what these are called, I'm hoping this will help help you see the shell just a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure if it will. So these shells are called arc shells, and they are from clams, and various different kinds of clams, but little clams. They're very sturdy. They're very broad. They have these really nice lines that kind of fold over. They almost look like the top of a waterfall to me a little bit, because they're all just really coming out. So these stand for safety and security and shelter. So these are really great shells to use in your home or home-based magic. You can use them in any sort of protection spells. You can also put them in a little mojo bag for protection. And then clam shells in general. This is a clam shell. It's kind of small. I used to find really big ones when I lived in Vancouver. They were just like humongous, and they still had stuff inside. Clam, I guess. They still had clam. But clams in general, all sorts of clam shells represent abundance, communication, foundation, and grounding. They're very good and sturdy kinds of shells. Healing, energy, love, and vitality. She also says that clams can help us find our place in the world, and they can be confident, and they can protect emotions. So something I saw online, a nice little spell, was to have, a clam shell where you have two halves. And you basically use that, you write your petition paper, or you can speak right into your clam, and just kind of speak out all of the things that you need to get out as a letting go type ritual. So from there you can close the clam up, you can tie it. If you have the sea and the paper and everything is all biodegradable, you can put it back in the sea. Likewise, you can put it outside and let the elements take it. Really, really neat. And they are very sturdy, very strong, pretty heavy actually. It's really thick. Real thick. Just put a stamp on it. I can't get over that you could just put a stamp on a coconut and send it through the mail. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Okay, so the king of shells here, and I, again, wish I had something really gigantic to show you guys. Her husband wanted back some of the stuff. He's like, where's our crab? He was so upset. He's like, now the other one's all by itself. So funny. So this is a conch shell, and I'm gonna turn it around. And this is the kind of shell that when the tip is taken off and it's drilled through, that can be used as a horn. And you can see really nice big ones, used as horns. Now, those have been used in a million places around the world. So that is a very popular call to, well, sometimes dinner, but call to prayer or worship or ritual in a lot of different places in the world, including Sri Lanka and India. It is a call that's put up by usually monks at the monastery to open up the heavens for ritual. As well, in Hawaii, the conch is sounded to call spirits and to cleanse the energy of a space. So if you want to do an energy clearing in your house and you like the idea of using sound, if you can get a conch shell that you can play, that is an amazing way to clear and cleanse a space. Sound bathing, basically. You can also use it to clear yourself, clear the people around you. So the conch shell, even these little baby ones, they represent knowledge, magic, love, what else does she say? Speech, sacredness, vitality, wisdom, and a bunch of different deities are specifically associated with the conch shell. And she mentions Vishnu and also Yamaya, who we are going to be talking about a little bit more later in the month or next month. So that's the conch shell. And there's a few of them that I have here. That's the biggest and coolest looking one. But there are a lot of different varieties of conch that come in all sorts of sizes, from little guys like this to giant queen conch shells that are just humongous, right? And they almost, the little spikes here are long enough to be like stands. They're really beautiful, really intense. Ah, here we go. What you are asking about, Kat, associated with Aphrodite and Venus, the clam works, but what you're actually thinking of is this. And this is called a scallop shell. It's from scallops, the kind of scallops that you eat. You can find scallop shells in all sorts of sizes, right? They come teeny, teeny, tiny to big guys like this to even larger. So the scallop shell is associated with Aphrodite and Venus. This is the kind of, so you know the whole Birth of Venus. Yeah, The Birth of Venus by Botticelli. I'm Italian, so it's, I have it memorized, right? Because I have to. So Aphrodite, or Venus, when you see her in The Birth of Venus there, she is standing up on the conch shell as she's riding in. So it's associated with these goddesses of love and beauty. And a number of Aztec and Mayan goddesses, from the Aztec and Mayan, so from both sides of Mexico, a lot of them were born on scallops or used the scallop to get around to where they were going. They essentially rode them through the ocean. So this is a symbol of goddess energy especially, but because of the goddesses that are associated with it, usually with beauty or love or, what was it? What else was it? Rebirth, birth, change, harmony, healing, journey, or travel, because it was their method of travel. Regeneration, relaxation, and in the book it says a symbol of religion, mysticism, and sex. So this is an awesome type of shell to use on your altar. I have salt in this one here, and this one I usually have water in it, but I knew I'd be like doing this with it. So you can also get smaller scallop shells, and you can make them into small candles. And you can do this, you don't have to be a candle maker to do this. Basically you just melt down some tea lights, and they have little wicks. You can get candle making stuff if you want, but you want to fill up your shell as much as you can, so that it can lay flat and it can burn, and it's really nice. It wrecks the seashell a little bit, so use fake ones. But yeah, Aphrodite and Venus on a scallop shell. I love the idea of traveling, and whenever you see like a really pretty like cheesy mermaid bed from like the 50s or 40s, it looks a lot like a scallop shell in the back. It's supposed to be a clam, right? Because of the pearl, but yeah, it usually looks like a scallop. Something else fun. Oh, sand dollar. Yes. Okay, sand dollars are really, really neat. So this is a sand dollar. And again, I have to have it in plastic because some pieces are broken, as you can see. And I just don't want any more pieces to disappear. So the sand dollar is a flat disc, and it's got this 5-pointed star and flower in the middle. So to Christians, it's a symbol of Christ, of the crucifixion of Christ because of the 5 points, as well as, what did she say? Oh, I read something about it. It's not just associated with the marks of Christ. There's also 5, I don't know, something Christian, and I completely forget it now. I'm sorry. Super sorry. I apparently took really shitty notes on this. But what's really interesting is this is not a shell. You know, nothing lives inside it. This is actually a sea urchin. So it's a lot like a starfish where it's died and it's dried out. This is a thing. This is an animal. Like it moves on its own. And it digs down into the sand, and that's how it ends up on the shore. So it represents balance, awareness, transformation, lots of wisdom and spirituality and hidden energy. It's associated with your crown chakra. And in meditation and stuff, it helps us seek wholeness, to be whole, to be one whole part that's all good on its own, as well as to help protect emotions and acquire knowledge. So it's a very protective kind of thing. It's also kind of fun. It obviously is associated a little bit with money and with luck, and one of the really fun little like folklore about it is that this is money, this is currency for mermaids, or for the people of Atlantis. This is what they used to trade. Shell money is the thing, though. That it just ain't that big. Just is not that big. Yeah, let's talk about these big ones. The whelk. So these are really, really pretty. And I'm hoping this makes it easier for you to see. So the whelk looks a lot like a conch, right? Because it's got that same kind of opening. I don't know if you could play it. It's not quite as deep, but it's not a conch, right? You can see that by this, how thin the end gets here. But the whelk was used as money by a lot of Native Americans, and actually it's very odd. There's a section of Manitoba maybe where they use seashells in arts and crafts, and no one can figure out how they got it. But they also use these whelk shells to make wampum beads and to make different pieces of jewelry. So it's a very pragmatic kind of shell. It's all about life changes, good fortune, imagination, inspiration, wisdom, and spiritual guidance. So this is a really good one to hold on to during meditation, and to keep on your altar and just kind of use it as a focus point when you're trying to access some of that kind of deeper knowledge. Oh, these ones are fun. Turkey wing. So this is actually a full little set of the turkey wing. So there are angel wings, but I don't have angel wing shells. I have these turkey wings. And that's 2 shells, right? And they look kind of like a lopsided set of wings. The turkey wing is all about, freedom and fun and lifting your mood. It's very much associated with just fun, lighthearted, good times. And this one's really cool because it's got a whole bunch of cute little barnacles and stuff growing on it. A turkey wing. Titan. Titan, again, looks a lot like a conch, doesn't it? It's similar, right? The Titan shell, or Triton, sorry, it is actually Triton. Triton, just like the Little Mermaid's dad, named after Poseidon's sons. These are all about leadership, taking your place in the world. What else did she say about the Triton? I liked it. I like Triton. It makes me happy to hear it. Makes me happy. So the Triton shell is all about strength and leadership and taking over. Very cool. I had something else that was very neat. Oh, one that I wanted to talk about that I unfortunately don't have any of is the cowrie shell. So I am trying to get some cowrie shells because she talks about cowrie shell divination. I'd really like to try it. I just haven't found any yet. So cowrie shells, you guys will definitely recognize if you see them. They're very small and they have an opening through them that kind of looks like a mouth, like a stitched mouth, like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's got a mouth and it's porcelain on the outside, basically. The word porcelain actually comes from what the ancient Romans used to call this particular shell. So. But it symbolizes a whole bunch of things. It symbolizes, sex organs or the mouth or a pregnant belly because the back is very much rounded like this. Like a lot of these other shells, it's associated with tons of goddesses and sea goddesses that relate to love and beauty especially. So like Venus and Ocean and all of these other different goddesses kind of around the world. And actually the cowrie shells is the one I was thinking of. In the middle of Manitoba, there is, what was it? The Ojibwe. The Ojibwe in Manitoba, in this area of Manitoba called White Shell. They have these white shells, these cowrie shells. Now, they're not supposed to be there. And according to birch bark scrolls, those shells were discovered a long time ago by the ancestors, just buried in the ground. And they're like, and so they speculate that maybe another tribe from one of the coasts brought it with them. I'm thinking it's just so much of Canada was at the bottom of the ocean a very long time ago. So much of Canada. So much of what is land now was not land when things started out. So I'm thinking it has a little something to do with that as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I gotta get some. I really gotta get some. Oysters. I, again, don't have oysters. But oysters, they do represent sex and fertility, right? That whole, it's an aphrodisiac thing. But as well as creativity and treasure, and also like kind of defensive, because they're very good at snapping shut. As well, pearls are formed by them, you know, a small little grain of sand gets in there and they have to protect themselves from it. And they coat it in this pearl. So they're a very good sign of, you know, defending yourself. What time are we at? Ooh, 8:20. Not too bad, y'all. Not too bad. And I have other notes if you guys want to know. So I found things about cockle shells, nautilus shells, moon shells. Lots of really pretty stuff. I found a lot of really cool Polynesian words, and I'm going to have to break out my Polynesian dictionary for some of these things, because it takes me a little while to figure out how to pronounce it. Oh, in Fiji, the cowrie is used as a status symbol. Chiefs would wear a cowrie shell, a golden cowrie shell, to denote their chiefly status. So those are the regular shells that I have. I also decided to grab a few things that are not shells because we already have the sand dollar that's not a shell, right? So I've got this big chunk of coral. And it's white coral with flecks of, well, red coral, but it's very pink in color. Try to get a little bit closer with it. This side's really neat. So coral comes in different colors, right? But it is all very cleansing, and it connects you to the ocean element, and it's very good for growth. So coral grows, it's a plant, right? It grows under the sea. As far as white coral goes, it's very good for cleansing and purifying, as well as kind of all-purpose. It lifts the mood, it makes you feel calm. It's got that same kind of balanced flow as other ocean-type items. And then the pink or the red coral is associated again with Yamaya, and it represents love and sexuality and creative energy. So this is a very interesting piece because it's got the white and the pink, and then some of this dark red. It's like dark red, in other parts it's pale pink. So it's got quite a few different uses. I love it. There's something about, it's a plant still. It's a plant, but it's basically fossilized. Yeah, every group of people has a worldwide flood myth. Every single one. All of them. Even the ones who lived on islands where they were surrounded by water anyways have flood myths. And of course they do, but even they. So yeah, there's shells all over the world in places that don't exactly, make a whole lot of sense. That's okay. Then I have pearls. I don't have a whole string of pearls. What I have are these freshwater pearls. Yeah. Some of my favorite earrings. They belong to my grandmother. And my grandmother, whose middle name was Marina, she's very much like a watery inspo for me. But pearls are very much about abundance and prosperity. They were always associated with rich people, but also with family and with home. They're associated with the sign of Cancer, so they're tied to the moon and to the ocean. So they're very much about comforting you and supporting you and love in that kind of familial type way. So they're a really cool magical item. I like to wear these a lot of times in ritual. I don't wear them out a lot because I'm afraid of losing them. But pearls are really, they're a very fancy, like, crystal, I guess, that you can get. And then I have some lava rock. Lava, also pumice, are awesome stones. So pumice is more associated with air and water, while lava is associated with, of course, fire and water. And they're both volcanic. Pumice is just a little bit lighter of a vibe, right? It's a little bit more chill. Don't worry, Kim, there's tons of stuff coming. There's tons of stuff, I promise. So lava, what I really like about lava is that it really feels like a grounding stone to me. So this is like that I say grounding and it falls to the ground. Thanks. That's not what I meant, lava. So what I meant. So lava to me feels like a very, very grounding stone, very centering, as well as it's kind of multi-purpose. You know, you see the lava beads where you can put smell on them. And that's really, really cool. I think that's really neat. But in general, lava can work for kind of everybody. It works for all sorts of different purposes. It's black, so it's good for protection and keeping things away. But it's very porous, so it's good for collecting and bringing things in. It's associated with the ocean, which is emotions and feelings and love and that element. But also fire, because it's born out of lava. Lava is fire. And water, because when that lava hits the water and the air, that's when it cools and becomes these lava rocks. So to me, it really represents all those elements as one big ol' beautiful black rock. Ew. Did I say they were plants? Man, I was trying to tell myself the opposite. Like, don't say they're plants. Don't say they're plants. They're not plants. They look like plants. They're animals. So thank you, Kat. I said it backwards. Coral are not plants. Coral are animals that grow and look like plants, but when they die, they turn this ghostly skeleton. I'm so glad you caught that, Kat. Thank you so much. This is why that's not how you remember things. Don't ever be like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, because that's what you're going to say. It's every single stupid time. Every single time. I think that was most of the shells I had. Oh, auger. This is called an auger. There's a few of them. They come in lots of different sizes. These are really great for protection as well. They're a great little stand-in for wands. And in general, they can be used to write or carve. If you can get a nice strong one, you could carve a soft candle, but you can also write in like a shell full of sand or salt. Yeah. Yeah, one time it was just a mistake. The second time it was like, okay, she's wrong. So thank you. That's funny. Oh, so these are the shells that I have. Do you guys have any questions about any of these shells or about how to use shells in your practice even? The meditation that we're going to do a little bit later is, I think it's only 12 to 13 minutes, so it's not like a half-hour thing. But I wanted to make sure, you know, all of this is cool, all of this makes sense. Are there any shells you'd like to talk about? Or have you ever felt a particular affinity for seashells? Any particular seashells even? These teeny, we have a million of these in the beaches here, and I can just pick those tiny little ones out all over the sand. I love them. I think there's a million of them in here. Yeah. Oh, I have nicer clamshells in there. Should have broke that open. My bad. Okay. Any magical correspondences with actual starfish? Yeah. So, I know I wrote that down for our first video. I keep looking here. That's not where you are. Sorry, friends. I can't see the like screen, so I have a hard time like remembering it's there. I know I found something with starfish. She didn't mention starfish in her book at all. Like, they don't, I mean, she mentioned them, but they weren't anywhere. And I was a little bummed about that. Especially for, you know, witches and pagans, starfish with the whole star and pentacle association, it's huge. Hold on one second. See if I got it. If I don't have it here, I will post it in the group because I did make some notes. I did make notes on starfish because that was something I noticed. I love starfish. Sorry, friends, I hate doing this, but I'm sure it's in here. That might be something I have to post a little bit later. So starfish, I think most of what I found is that they're very good at protection, luck, and what is the word I'm looking for? Like longevity, so living for a really long time. I am looking up a little bit more about the animals themselves and not just their remains. So like I said, something she doesn't really mention in the book is what kind of animals grow in a lot of these shells. And sometimes she does. But like for a conch shell, you know, I had no idea what actually grew in that for the longest time. Had no idea. Same with abalone. I had no idea it was a giant snail. No one ever says that. So I'm going to be learning a little bit more about the animals themselves and not just their kind of remains, because I would imagine that in life that they have slightly different meanings that they do as skeletons, you know. So I will make sure to find my note on that cat, and I'm going to make sure to post that in the group later. So actually that is a really good lead in to what I wanted to say next, which was that oh, is that it? No, couldn't possibly. So cool. One thing that we are going to be doing in the future, next week we are going to be talking about some deities and saints and myths. So we're going to be talking about mermaids, which is really fun. We're also going to be talking about some sea fetches, like ocean animals, totem animals. And I felt like her book was sorely lacking in some of my favorites, like starfish, for example, and seahorse wasn't in there, which I thought was wild, but manatee is, and I'm all about that life. I love me a manatee. So, since I can't go through every single one, kind of like the shells, if there are any water deities that you want to learn more about, or that you want me to learn more about and help you out with, or if there are any sorts of water myths or stories or legends you want me to talk about in the episode or in the meetup next week, and if there are sea creatures, deities, or mythology and folklore, yeah, if you have any of that you guys really, really love, just throw it into the group, and I'm going to try to make sure I get the stuff that you guys really like. So next week we are going to talk about some of the deities and the saints, goddesses, gods, and of course mermaids. So that's going to be super fun. Super fun. I'm really into mythological sea creatures. It's going to be great. Oh, cool. 8:30. So, as I said, for the next part, we are doing a guided meditation that I have pre-recorded. I posted it in the group. You guys might have seen it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a watch party with that video in it. And I can like go live within the video to react. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to say or anything, but I guess we'll find out. I tested it earlier, but in a group where there's no people, it's kind of hard to know. So that's going to be our next thing. So I'm going to be stopping this video shortly so that I can get that going. So if you guys have any questions before we get started with the meditation, if you want to take a little bit of time to gather some things. So she says during the sea centering chapter here, she says, when you first start out, it's really good to fully immerse yourself in the experience of the sea. So she wants you to grab, you know, something that smells like the sea and something that feels like the sea. So a seashell or some sand or even, you know, salt. Smell. I have a candle going. It's jasmine. It's not super oceany, but it is associated with the moon and with Neptune and water. I have the coconut incense, and I have my lavender sea salt spray, which I can definitely taste. So, it's actually not the worst, which I can definitely taste. So those are mine. So you guys might want to gather up a few things. Like I said, it's a guided meditation. I'm going to be talking in it, and I've got some ocean sounds, and I've got a pretty like a video of just rolling waves coming in. Perfect. So thank you guys so much. Keep an eye out in the group. That watch party should start in like literally like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes after I shut this down, the watch party will be getting started. So I will see you guys over there, and thank you so much for coming today. And don't let me forget some of the steps. So if I don't post anything about Starfish Cat, you have full reign to just yell at me and be like, Paige, where's my starfish shit? I'm telling you. Remind me. I'm so much better when I have people watching, making sure I do my shit. So I will see you guys in a few minutes.